So for our AC install, which we've already done on this vehicle, what you'll do is you'll want to pre-assemble the unit with the modified bracket on the side by removing the two bolts in the side of the unit and bolting the plate back in place so that this line where we cut the bracket will follow the line of the chassis tube. You'll also want to have this interior bracket installed. You can see with the radiused edge here facing towards the back, and what we've done here for best fitment is we've actually drilled another hole, this one being the original hole. So you might find that for the best fit you might have to hold it in position, maybe zip tie it in position, drill another hole to get it to bolt in. Then once you do that, then you can install the riv nuts into this panel, the 1032 riv nuts, as the unit kind of hangs down below that. Make sure you put the two short 1024 riv nuts, and then use two of the 3/4 inch long 1024 bolts to hold it in position. You can plug in the wiring harness for the controls, which will route behind the wiper motor under the 1-inch tube. They'll go down into the hole in the engine cover and then out through the bottom of the console section, where it will eventually get plugged into the control panel. And what we've done is we've already unplugged that from the controls. It comes in this box here. So what you'll have to do is you'll have to unplug the wiring harness from this portion of the control panel, save the control panel again for later install, and then route that in. This end you can see it's white with the red plug, and then actually at the unit it's a small black plug. So once you have all that in place and you've slid the fittings through the firewall, so you have the S-bend here. So the S-bend tube you'll want to bolt on to the top port, and then there's an L-shaped bracket which goes to this side port here that should already be on the unit before you set it into position in the firewall. And then when you slide it through, you want to make sure that those ports, as well as the two on the inside edge, you want to have had those bolted onto the unit before you bring it into the footwell. Make sure that those are nice and tight. They have the O-rings, and you tighten those up. Slide them through with one of the nuts on the inside on the S-bend tube and the L bracket. You can see it's got a fitting welded to the tube, as well as a nut to tighten them down to the firewall. And then you'll put a nut on the outside, as well as the rubber washer. So rubber washer first, then the nut, tighten it down. And what you want to make sure is you want to make sure that there's enough thread exposed through the firewall for the hoses to tighten down and seal properly to the port coming out of the firewall on both the large upper port and then the smaller one down on the bottom. And then once you've done that, you can take the hose that we installed previously that connects to the hose with the T in it that connects to the front port of the water pump, and then goes up to the reservoir. You can plug that into the upper port here on the HVAC unit, and then you'll use the hose that looks like a question mark that we get from another supplier. Install that to the rear port on the water pump, and it will go to the front side of the control valve, which should be bolted to the control valve bracket using the 3/4 inch 1024 bolts, and then you space it up off the bracket with two of the small 1/8 inch washers that we use to back up the rivets. Actually bolt that into position, and after you've trimmed this piece down, once you get it routed, you'll have to trim it down probably about 6 or 8 inch section off of it. Save that piece, then you can use that to go from the rear side of the control valve to the lower port on the HVAC unit, and then use the supplied hose clamps from Vintage Air to tie it all together. That's the install of the AC unit.